Hi, I'm Charlotte with Freezer Meals 101. Welcome. Today we are going to be making some make-ahead casseroles. And I'm really excited about this one because I think that casseroles make family life a lot easier, and especially when they're already made and all you need to do is take them out of the freezer and warm them back up. So we're gonna be making some of those awesome, easy, comfort-y meals today. And I think that these are really gonna help you out. And that's what makes me the most excited about these meals. So I wanted to choose a lot of variety for today's meals because I wanted you to be able to make them and serve them all in the same week if you wanted, and not get sick of having the same thing over and over and over again. So hopefully I have done that. So today we're gonna be making chicken and rice casserole, which is a new to me recipe, but I've heard good things and it sounds good, so we'll give this one a try. We're also gonna be making kind of just a good old pasta bake, like easy, saute your vegetables, cook your pasta, throw it in there, put some pasta sauce, top it with cheese, easy peasy. But an all-in-one meal that will be nice to have. Tuna casserole, which some people love and some people not so much. So if that one's not for you, you can skip it. But this is a really good tuna casserole recipe. It is such comfort food for me. It reminds me of childhood, and it's just got those really good flavors for me. We are also going to be making beefy rice casserole, tater tot casserole. This is one with beef and vegetables, so it is an all-in-one meal, and Spanish rice casserole. So like I said, lots of variety, some different proteins represented, and these should make life a lot simpler for you. So let's get to making these meals. This is my first time making this particular chicken and rice casserole, and I'm really excited to see how it tastes because it is easy to put together. You're gonna use your chicken that's already cooked and diced. So on the day you go to make this, you're just basically reheating it. And then you've got some dry onion soup mix, a can of mushroom soup, a can of chicken soup, and then some evaporated milk, 1 cup of sour cream, 2 cups of minute rice. Now here's where it gets awesome. For the rice, you're gonna add it in uncooked. You're gonna just throw it right in here. And that's why you're gonna use minute rice, to make sure that it cooks up properly. But seriously, you're just gonna do 2 cups of rice, just like that. And it's all gonna cook when the casserole cooks. So how amazingly easy is that? Then we're gonna add salt and pepper and some frozen green beans in there. Now the recipe that I'm kind of very, very loosely basing this off of didn't call for the green beans, but I want this to be more of a full meal casserole, so I needed to get some veggies in there, and I know that green beans go well with rice and they go well with chicken and adds a little pop of color. So there you have it, the chicken and rice casserole. On the day you go to cook this, you're gonna thaw it, add about a cup of water, and then dump the whole thing into a greased casserole dish. Bake at 350, covered for 45 minutes, and then uncover for the last 10 minutes. And just like that, you'll have your full meal. Now, this next recipe requires a little bit more prep than my usual freezer meals do, but once this is done, then on the day you go to cook this, you just throw it in the oven and everything is already pre-cooked, so it cooks up really fast and easy, and it's just a nice, really basic, like good old pasta casserole. So we're just gonna fry up some veggies. You can use whatever you have on hand. This particular time I'm using onions, red peppers, and zucchini, but I have also used mushrooms, green peppers. What else have I used in this dish? jalapenos, carrots. Seriously, it's just a great way to use up the vegetables that you have in the fridge. So you're gonna just fry those up in some butter or oil until they're softened. And you're gonna at the same time be cooking your pasta in a large pot of water and cook that to the package directions, except you want to undercook it by about 2 minutes so that when you go to bake this, your pasta doesn't get mushy by being overcooked because you're kind of cooking it twice. So then you're going to drain your pasta, run it under cold water, and then you're going to dump the pasta into a casserole dish. I'm using an aluminum tray so that I can easily freeze it and not hold one of my good casserole dishes hostage in my freezer. Then you're mixing those vegetables into the cooked pasta and just dumping a jar of your favorite pasta sauce on top. Really, seriously, that is the entire recipe. If you want, you can get all fancy and add some Italian seasoning or fresh basil or whatever, but this is just super easy. Then you're going to top it with some shredded mozzarella cheese. If you want, you can sprinkle some Parmesan on there as well, but that's it. This is just one of those like good old pasta bakes. It's a vegetarian meal and it's got everything you need in there because you've got your vegetables and your cheese. So there you go, another casserole all done. I know that tuna casserole is sort of one of those you love it or you hate it things. So if you're on the hate it side of things, feel free to fast forward this particular recipe. But for me, tuna casserole kind of feels like childhood and comfort food. And this is a really good one. Now I would say that half the time I make this, I make just the mixture, and then the day that I bake it, I cook up the noodles and add the noodles that day. But this time, I'm going ahead and making the noodles and mixing them in and doing it all together so that the day that I go to cook it, I can just put it in the oven and it'll be all ready. So we've added 2 cans of drained tuna into our bowl, some chopped onion, chopped red pepper, some mushroom soup. We were doing 2 cans of that, and then some cheddar cheese. And then we're gonna cook up a package of egg noodles. Now we're undercooking the noodles slightly, again, just like we did in that last pasta bake. And that is just so that it doesn't affect the texture and it doesn't get overcooked and mushy on the day that you bake this. We're also adding some frozen peas in there. So once you mix everything else except the noodles together, then you're gonna pour the noodles in there. I drained them under cold water because I don't want to put this in the bag when it's warm because that can affect getting freezer burn, and I don't want to get freezer burn. The other important thing in avoiding freezer burn is to be sure that you get all the air that you can out of your bags. So for this particular one, some of my family members, who shall remain nameless, my husband, anyway, some of them do not like tuna. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to put half of this into 2 containers and give those to my dad because I know he does like tuna casserole, and that way he will have some single serving freezer meals for himself and he can just heat it in the microwave if he wants. And then I'll put the rest in a large freezer bag for us because if I do all of it and not our whole family eats it, then it'll be too much and I don't want to waste any food. So that's how I'm going about that today. Now, I know the word casserole means different things to different people. For some people, it's kind of like something that's all baked together in one. And when I think of casserole, I think of it that way, as like kind of a one pot meal where you can get everything you need, like most of or all of your food groups represented all in one meal. But I also think of comfort food and like really homey, family-friendly meals when I think of casseroles. So today when I chose these recipes, that's kind of more what I had in mind. So let me know in the comments below what you think of when you think of casserole, and if you have any favorite casseroles that you would like to see me convert into a freezer meal so that you can now make it ahead and have it whenever you want. Next, we're gonna make some casseroles with ground beef. It's always fastest if you work with one protein at a time. So I'd gone ahead and already cooked the ground beef in the oven on a sheet pan. And with that all cooked, I'm ready to put these beef casseroles together. So the first one is our tater tot casserole with beef and veggies. You put the tater tots in the bag first because that way it mixes a whole lot better. So you're going to be adding those frozen tater tots, ground beef, diced onion, some frozen mixed vegetables. You can use whichever are your favorites. I just used a very basic one. A can of cream of mushroom soup, some evaporated milk, clove of garlic, dry mustard powder, salt and pepper, and you're going to add cheddar cheese into a medium-sized bag and staple that to the large bag at the end. Now you mix the cream of mushroom soup and evaporated milk and seasonings together before you pour it over all of the other ingredients. So a few times you're going to seal the bag, give it a shake, and then at the end you're going to take all the air that you can out of the bag, and then you're going to reseal it. That way, again, you're avoiding that freezer burn, and that's always a good thing to do when you're freezer cooking. So this tater tot casserole is really popular, especially with the kids. You can find the recipes for all of the meals that we're making today in the description down below. To find the description, you just want to click on the video title, and that will expand the box so that you can see the recipes. And I also will link the Freezer Meals 101 Club down below, because that is a way easier way for you to be able to make freezer meals, because you can create your own custom meal plans and then print out shopping lists. It also allows you to change the serving size. So if you are living alone or have a smaller family, you can adjust the serving size down to 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. If you have a larger family, then you can double the recipes easily or change the serving size to 8 people, that kind of thing. We, in general, all of our meals feed 6 people. If you've been watching our videos for a while, then you'll know that I have kind of a mega sized family. We have 7 kids, but our kids are growing up, and so only 5 of them still live at home. So I'm just feeding 7, and these recipes that are designed for 6 do feed our family of 7. When it's our family of 9, then I do need to add some extra sides and bulk things up a little bit, because they don't stretch far enough on their own to feed all 9 of us. But my neighbor Christy, who makes a lot of the recipes with me, uses the same serving sizes for her family of 4, because then she finds that she has enough left over for her husband to take to work, and that is really convenient for their family and works for them. So when we make the meals together, we always just make the serving size of around 6 people, and we just find that that works really well. But again, if you want, you can find the link for the Freezer Meals 101 Club below, which allows you to really, really easily change the serving sizes for all the recipes and print your shopping list and all the things. And that's how I created my shopping list for today, other than the chicken and rice casserole, because I've never made that one before, so it's not in the club yet. I only add recipes to the club after we've tried them, like frozen them, thawed them, cooked them, tried them, and gotten votes from our family and Christy's family so that we know that there are enough people that love it and rave about it to be willing to kind of put our stamp of approval on it and put it in the club. Okay, let's get back to making some more make-ahead casseroles. This one is great to have in the freezer because it's a slow cooker casserole and it's a really good all-in-one meal. And it's another one where you don't have to cook the rice ahead, you put the rice in uncooked. But in this case, we are going to staple the bag of rice onto the large bag, and then we will dump both of those into the crock pot on the day that we go to make this. So you've got your ground beef, diced tomatoes, chopped onion, chopped green pepper, and salt and chili powder. That's it, other than the rice, and it makes a complete meal beefy rice slow cooker casserole for you. We have been making this next one for well over a decade. In fact, it might be 2 decades. This is our Spanish rice. We're using cooked rice in this recipe, so everything in here, including the ground beef and the rice, is already cooked. So on the day that you go to make this, you are just reheating it. And that means that it only needs to go in the oven for around a half an hour. So this is a great one for really busy weeknights if you're running kids to soccer practice or piano lessons, or if you're running around yourself. This is a great one to just put in the oven, get a few things done while you're waiting for it to cook, get everybody's, cleats and piano books and whatever it is you need, and then you eat quickly, and then you can go about your merry way and get what you have to get done. So we've got the beef in there, the rice, you're using pasta sauce. You can make your own using the amazing red sauce, or you can use jarred pasta sauce. Then you've got onion, green pepper, sliced black olives, and then garlic, of course, and we're adding a bag of cheddar cheese shredded on the outside so that we can top it with the cheese on the day that we bake it. My tea is done, the meals are done, so that means that this video is almost over. I'm gonna put a link right here to our last big mega freezer meal session. We did 126 meals in that video, and that will give you a ton of ideas of not just casseroles, but all kinds of recipes. And that will really expand your ideas of what freezer cooking can be. Thank you so much for joining me today, and happy cooking.